everyone and welcome back to another video. For today's video I have another art journal page for you and I'm going to use the Tim Holtz products. I'm going to start out with putting a layer of white gesso on the pages. I'm going to do a double page today. I've never done a double page, so I'm quite excited to try one. Then I'm going to create a watercolored effect and I'm going to start with the antique linen from the Distress Crayons. I'm mainly going to use the crayons today. I'm going to start out by putting some on my mat and then just dilute it with water to create watercolors. And then I'm just going to put it randomly on the page. I got this watercolor brush, this special watercolor brush, but it kept losing hairs, so I stopped using it fairly quickly. Everything that I'm doing on this one page, I'm also doing on the second page, but I cut that part out because you don't want to see me watercolor for an hour. The next color that I'm going to use is old paper and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm adding some water here and there to make it flow a bit better. And I'm just continuing to place the crayon everywhere randomly. The next color that I'm going to use is Iced Spruce and I'm starting out by making some spatters and then I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the other colors. This time I'm going to try to make the water drip down a bit, if that makes sense. And I'm going to move the paper as well a bit to the left and the right and up and down. And I must tell you that within every layer or between every layer I'm also drying everything with my heat gun. For the last color I'm going to use Forest Moss, and this time I decide to color directly onto the page, then add water and spread it out with a watercolor brush. I just wanted to see how this would work. As you can see, the water is seeping through the crease and I'm trying to catch that because you want to avoid the crease getting too wet. I'm going to mop up a bit of the water because it was a bit, or the color, I'm sorry, because it was a bit too intense. And then I'm going to add more water and spread it out. And as you can see here, I've done the same exact thing on the second page. Now it's time to do some stenciling and I'm going to use the Tim Holtz mini stencil for that, along with the Stamperia Volume paste. Now you can use any paste you want. I chose this one because it's nice and thick. And as you can see, I'm scraping off pieces of the stencil here and there, but I'm also adding tiny bits of the paste randomly on the page just to give it a bit more texture. I'm then going to dry this a bit with my heat gun, but I also just let it air dry. I'm going to add some of the gathered twigs and ground espresso. This is also the crayons diluted with water, and then I'm just going to put it in between the texture paste. And I'm going to add water to let it flow in between the cracks. Well, it's not really cracks, but you know what I mean. Also, I'm sorry for the water glare. There's nothing really I can do about that. For the next part, I decided to use my new die cuts. These are the Sizzig Wildflower Thinlits from the Vault collection. The number is 666565. And I'm going to use the Distress crayons once again to color the flowers. I'm going to start off by using some Forrest moss. And I'm going to color the stems. And some of them were quite light, so I decided to just add more paint. I'm not going to do it very neatly. I don't mind that some spots are darker than others, and as you can see it was still too light for my liking, so I'm going to color with the Distress crayon directly on top of the die cut. You need to do this very carefully because as you can see I almost broke that flower. Then I'm going to color the flowers and I'm going to start out by using wild honey. Some of them will be lighter than others, but that's because I wanted a little bit of variation. I'm going to add more of the wild honey in the centers. And then I want to add some of the, this is Saltwater Taffy. Yeah. And I'm just going to add it at the tips of the flowers, not on all of them, because I want them just to be, yeah, a tiny bit different from each other. I don't want everything to be the same. And then the next things that I'm going to show you are these leaf things. And I'm going to use weathered wood. I like a bit of contrast. Everything is so green and yellow that I decided to add a bit of the blue. And I'm going to do that for 2 of them. And the other ones I will just use the same colors that I did the stems of the flowers. I will not show you all of the flowers, like the coloring process, because it's a lot. This took me a while. So I've cut out a lot of the work actually. But you can see how I did it, so it's not that interesting. The last color that I'm going to use is the purple one, and I forgot to write it down. Aged Mahogany. Is it Aged Mahogany? No, that's not correct. I'm sorry. Villainous Potion. It's now time to arrange all of the wildflowers. I am not going to glue down this portrait yet. This is one of the Tim Holtz Paperdoll thingies. I'm not sure on what the set is called because I threw all of the packaging away. But I'm going to arrange the wildflowers underneath the portrait, and I'm going to let them also go on the other page as if they will, well, they will follow the watercolor, if that makes sense. And I'm going to use my Collage medium for it to glue everything down. And then I'm going to let the leaves go over the page. I'm going to glue it down and make sure that the stem will follow the crease of the spine. And I'm going to glue it and then use my brush to really push it inside of the spine, and then to make sure that it won't interfere when you close it, I'm going to use my X-Acto knife to just cut it carefully so that it will stay as it is. And then I'm just going to continue gluing down all of the leaves and wildflowers. I just realized that I never really used the Villainous Potion, and that is probably because I decided that it didn't fit the color scheme. So yeah, I didn't end up using the villainous potion. I'm then going to ink the edges with some ground espresso, and I will also use vintage photo. I really like the composition of the wildflowers, by the way. It really feels like a wildflower bouquet or something like that. And that was the feel that I was going for. Now I'm going to use one of the quote strips from Tim Holtz. And this one says, "The only time to ever look back is to see how far you've come." And I really enjoyed that quote at the time, so that's why I picked it. I'm then going to create some paper collages underneath, or scrappy clusters, however you want to call it. And I'm going to start off by using this paper strip, which is also from Tim Holtz. I'm going to roughen up the edges and ink them a bit with the vintage photo. I'm then going to use these book pages that I have used to clean off my brayer while I'm using acrylic paints. And I thought these colors really fit the color scheme. So I'm going to just tear off strips for both of the clusters in all three of the colors. And then I'm going to arrange the clusters and glue everything down. I really hope you are enjoying the art journal videos. I really am enjoying the art journal, but I promise that I will work on the postal lab book again very soon. So don't worry, I will still finish the project, but I just enjoy doing different things at the moment. I'm then going to do the same thing on the other page, just simply arrange the paper cluster. It's nothing really special, but it does add a lot to the page in my opinion. I'm then going to add some cheesecloth to the back of the clusters, and I'm going to use my collage medium to glue everything down. And I'm going to add the cheesecloth on both of the clusters. It's then time to add some last decorations, and I'm going to start by putting on some cello tape. Then I'm going to add one of the Tim Holtz number strips. I've inked up the edges with some vintage photo and I've roughened them up as well with my scissors. And then I'm going to add one of the postage stamp from the new sticker book, also from Tim Holtz. We're also nearing the end of the video now. I really hope you enjoyed this journal page. I want to thank you all for watching, and if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please consider to do so because it really helps the channel grow. So yeah, subscribe for more, enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you next time. Bye!